Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ozzy right here from Gotham City Rouges. This is my channel, Fantasy All the Time, FATT. All right, so let's check out what's going to happen in Week 13. Um, this is the last game before the playoffs start. I have an amazing record of 3-9. I'm on a win streak of 1, so hopefully we can make this 2. I am going up against Dr. Grontopis, 8-4. I believe he has the second best record in our whole league. He has a very strong team, and so let's see what we're projected to do here. I am projected to beat him by 10 points. Most of my points are going to be coming from Andrew Luck and Antonio Brown. Now, obviously, those are some of the top players in all of fantasy football. Antonio Brown is ranked number 2, and Andrew Luck is ranked number 8. Now, he was ranked a little higher, but he hasn't played in the last couple of games, and he hasn't had that good of a season, honestly. But for a good time, he was like top 2. He might finish the year top 5, hopefully. But I never know. You never know. Now they are playing the Jets, so hopefully he can still get at least 2 touchdowns or something and get a couple rushing yards. Now Mark Ingram is top 10, so that's gonna be a pretty good one against Detroit. Now Detroit did put up a good game against the Vikings, but New Orleans is a whole nother. They're not the Vikings. They may not have that same record, but the New Orleans is not the Vikings. That offense that the New Orleans rolls out is they don't play no games. Now, San Francisco is playing Chicago, so Carlos Hyde is going to go up against a very easy team. So hopefully he can get a couple more points. He is projected to score 2 more points than his average. Last week, I did not start Taylor Gabriel and I did not start Tyreek Hill. I ended up leaving over 40 points on the bench. So this week I am going to go with both of these guys. Now, both of these guys are super, super fast. They're probably one of the fast. Tyreek Hill is probably the fastest non-Olympian in the world. And he's probably is the fastest player in the league. So that usually generates for easy yardage or um, missed open field tackles. Uh, so now Taylor Gabriel, he's on I believe, in a 4-game streak of touchdowns. This last week he had 2 touchdowns. So hopefully he could generate at least 1 touchdown and keep the streak going. I really need a win. I cannot afford to lose. All right, so let's check out what Dr. Grontop is going to be projected to do. See now, he has a lot of top 5 players. Man, he has 3 top 5 players on his team, compared to me only having 1 top 5 and a total of 4 top 10. He has 3 top 5s. That's the best. You can't beat that. Jordan Reed is top 3 tight end, but he's projected to get 0 points because of his injury. David Johnson, number 1 running back. I'm very scared of David Johnson. Dak Prescott, top 5 quarterback. Now they are going up against Minnesota, so it's not going to be the easiest thing to do to score Minnesota's defense. He could go out and just not have a good game, but Ezekiel Elliott could still churn out some yards. Now, Des Bryant is going to be shut down more than likely, so he's going to have to go to what's his name, Cole Beasley and Williams. So now let's check out his other players. Jonathan Stewart is a really good running back, but he's going up against Seattle's defense. That's not going to be good either. Um, Let me see. Brandon Marshall's, that's it could go any way. Steve Smith, like I said, could go any way too. Devontae Parker, he is on the same page with their quarterback. Um, Man, I'm going blank on the quarterback's name. Ryan Tannehill. Him and Devontae Parker and Ryan Tannehill are on the same page. It seems to be that he is his favorite receiver compared to last year, it being Landry. Now, Parker's projected to get 0 points too. So I am projected to win by 10, but 2 of his players are projected to get 0. So if they even score 1 point each, that diminishes my 10-point projection to win. All right, guys. So again, let's check out what everybody else is doing. All right, guys. So let's check out what Shake and Bake Fernando Barone and get on my level of Juan Garza. Let's see what these 2 guys are gonna end up doing. Now, Garza does have the best record in the league and in my division, the Heroes division, and Shake and Bake is tied with Dr. Gruntop is for first and third division. So these two guys are some of they're the top two guys in our top three guys in our league. Um, so let's check out what they got going on here. Garza is projected to win. Get on my level. He has Tyrod Taylor, Spencer Ware against Atlanta. That's a good matchup. Todd Gurley versus New England. That's a bad matchup. And Todd Gurley is just not the same guy as last year. Mike Evans is the number one wide receiver in the league. So he's predicted to get 13 points. He's averaging 14.5 a game. So he could easily top that. Pretty much they just throw it up there for him and he catches it. He catches everything in the vicinity of his arms. Ty against New York Jets. This could go either way too. But with a healthy Andrew Luck, Ty should get his yards and his touchdowns. Kyle Rudolph versus Dallas. That could go either way. Devontae Booker versus Jacksonville. He should be able to just have a field day with him. So he could probably even crack 20 points if they get the ball rolling. So Garza's team has quite a bit of good players on it. He has the number one wide receiver, a top six wide receiver, and he has the number six tight end and the number three kicker. Now, for a while, he had the number one wide receiver, and I believe the number three or four wide receiver in AJ Green. Now, AJ Green is down for the year, so that kind of sucks right there. But yeah, that's how you get a top 10, a top record of 9-3. You draft players to produce. All right, so let's check out Fernando's team. Tom Brady versus LA. LA has a good defense, but Tom Brady's in a terrible part. Devontae Freeman versus KC. This game could go either way, but once they get in the red zone, Devontae Freeman's pretty much money. So they're not going to be able to shut down Julio Jones. And with the emergence of Gabriel, that gives them a second option. So they can't just, defend. They can't just put everybody on Julio Jones. All right, Ezekiel Elliott is the number two running back in the league. He's going up against Minnesota. Now, you're not the number two running back in the league by luck. So Minnesota's defense is decent. They could probably shut down Des Bryant, but they're not going to shut down Ezekiel Elliott. So they're going to be able to move the ball. So Ezekiel Elliott should easily get a touchdown, maybe even two, go for 100 yards. Larry Fitzgerald versus Washington. They should have Norman on him, but Norman only plays on one side of the field, so you just put him on the other side, and there you go. You take away the number one corner on that team. Sterling Shepard versus Pittsburgh. Sterling Shepard's like touchdown or bust. So hopefully he gets a touchdown and he gets the 7 to 8 points that he's averaging. Travis Kelce versus Atlanta. That's Kelsey's a very he's a mismatch with every team, so he should be able to get his touchdown too. Rashad Jennings is probably the only player I don't like on this lineup, but he can go off sometimes, and he's an all-around player. He does get receiving yards and rushing yards, so it's projected to be a 95 to 92 game. So let's say I think Garza's going to win. He does have a slightly better team. He is projected to win also. But his players are just playing teams that are a little bit easier to score on. Now, Ezekiel Elliott has carried Fernando's team throughout the year. So if Ezekiel Elliott and Tom Brady can each go off for at least 20 points, he could win, but it's going to be very hard to do against tough defenses. All right, let's check out the other guys. All right, guys. So let's check out what Taco Corp J-Lo versus Team Moreno. All right, Taco seriously needs to win. He seriously needs to win. He has to win, and either Dr. Cartopis or Fernando Check and Bake have to lose so that he can get into the playoffs. So Eric is out of the playoffs, and if I win and he loses, we're gonna have a two-way or three-way tie with Ronnie for the worst record of the year. All right, so let's check out. That's exactly what happened. It'll be 4-9. All right, so let's check out what's going on here. All right, right now Eric is projected to win 87 to 85. He has Eli Manning, Doug Martin, Jay Ajayi, Odell Beckham, Brandon Cooks, Zach Ertz, Theo Riddick, Panthers, and Chandler Catanzaro. He has one top 5 player in Odell Beckham. He is projected to get 11 points. He's averaging 12. Against Pittsburgh, it might become a shootout. If Pittsburgh, for whatever reason, just starts to run up the score, Odell might lose his mind. But um, he is Odell Beckham, and he's probably going to go off for 2, 3 touchdowns. So that could easily happen, or he could easily score 5 points. Brandon Cooks, that's a dangerous player right there. Doug Martin, at full speed, he is a very legitimate running back. So yeah, he's projected to win with. He's getting a lot of high projections out of you know minus players, like low scoring players. Kind of, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Now Jay Ajayi, he did have those monster games, but he's not gonna have a monster games against Baltimore's defense. So he is projected to win, but I seriously doubt that's gonna happen. Now let's check out J Lo's team. Aaron Rodgers, number one QB in the league. And you saw what if y'all, I don't know if y'all saw the Chargers game, and if y'all saw what uh, Philip Rivers did to the Houston's defense. Aaron Rodgers is gonna pick us apart for 5 easy touchdowns if we play like we played last week. Now we can shut down a running back, but that's all right. Their running backs are pretty much wide receivers, so we're gonna get picked apart, man. It's gonna be embarrassing going to Lambeau Field. All right. Other than that, he has Frank Gore, who could possibly go off, but they are going against the Jets. Jets pretty good against the run. Robert Kelly against Arizona, that's not the best matchup in the world. Crowder against Arizona, again, not the best match in the world. Now Tyler Boyd and Eifert against Philadelphia. Philadelphia has recently slowed down as far as their defense is coming, but they're not an easy out. Now, Tyler Boyd and Eifert are going to see a lot more targets now that AJ Green's out, but that was the same situation last week, and they were not able to produce. So, uh, Tyler Boyd and Eifert could easily get one touchdown. Possibly the only way that J-Lo's going to win if both of these guys get a touchdown each. All right, Moncrief. Moncrief benefits by having Andrew Luck on the field. So, if Andrew Luck plays this week, which more likely he is, Moncrief is going to get at least a touchdown, so he's good for 10 points, possibly. Broncos versus Jacksonville, they're going to have a field day with him. They average out 10 points a game. They're going to have a field day, man. They're probably going to score 16 points. It's going to be safe to say that they're going to score on defense. All right, and Jakowski versus LA. LA's defense is pretty good, so hopefully they do a couple of goal line stands, and they have to go for the kick instead of going for the touchdown. All right, let's go to the next team. All right, so let's check out Grind Time versus Camastillo, Gonzalez, Rodney. Um, all right, so this game I'm paying a lot of attention to it because I need Ronnie to lose. If Ronnie loses and I win, I'm not gonna be the beer bitch. If Ronnie wins and I lose, I'm the fucking beer bitch. We're tied for worst record in the league. I'm not happy about it, but that's what it, that's what it is right now. Now, Ronnie has a 9-game losing streak. He started off the year 3-0, and he has managed to get 9 straight losses. That is almost as hard as getting 9 straight wins. Probably even harder because he's not trying to lose. He's just losing. Uh, so let's check out the teams right now. He is projected to win, which kind of sucks because, like I said, I really need him to lose. All right, so let's check out his lineup. Cam Newton versus Seattle. That's a tough defense to score on. And as it is, the Carolina Panthers are having a hard time. Now, they could, they could get lucky in a couple of bombs, which would suck, but which they got lucky in a couple of bombs last week with Ted Ginn. He caught Ted Ginn at full stride for a big bomb. But this is Seattle, so it's probably not going to happen that easily against the Seattle defense. All right, LeSean McCoy versus Oakland. That could be. LeSean McCoy is probably going to be his highest scoring player. Terrence West versus Miami. It's possible that he's going to get something going here. Now they might shut down Terrence West, and they might just give um Dix. Is it Dixon? I forgot the other guys. I forgot the other guys. I think it's Dixon, the backup. They might just give Dixon the ball and just try to see if he can get it together and start off end of year strong and start off next year full speed. But you never know. Now DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, he's stuck on this two wide receiver lineup right here that he set up. Um, the Browns are on the bye, so he has no Terrell Pryor. All right, so DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Now this is against Green Bay. Green Bay's defense is not that great, so it's possible that um, Osweiler is going to produce something. He might be able to get lucky and get a couple of deep bombs against the very passer friendly Green Bay defense, and we might just get behind and we're going to have to play catch up the whole game. So they may just throw the ball. So this might be the week for DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller to both have decent games, but I hope they don't because I don't want Ronnie to win. All right, Jimmy Graham versus Carolina. Jimmy Graham is producing like how he used to produce 3-4 years ago, um, which sucks because again, I don't need that to happen this week. Jimmy Graham versus Carolina is probably not going to Carolina. Jimmy Graham versus Carolina linebackers is probably not the best thing for him. So hopefully he does not have a good game. Torrey Smith versus Chicago. Torrey Smith's a deep threat, so it's going to be hit and miss. Patriots versus LA and Graham Gano versus Seattle. Again, all tough defenses, so hopefully he does not score 84 points. All right, so let's check out the next one. It's Russell Wilson versus Carolina. Um, Tough defense right there, and Russell Wilson's not playing that great. So let's see what happens there. TJ Yeldon versus Denver. Might as well not even suit up. Smallwood versus Cincinnati. That's a very tough matchup. Uh, but Smallwood does show promise. Like I said in the other video last week, I have a lot of hope for Smallwood, but let's see if he can get it together. Now, Cincinnati's a tough defense, so he might not be able to produce like I want him to. Jordy Nelson versus uh, versus Houston. Now we probably can shut down one or two of the Green Bay receivers, but they have so many. They have Jordy Nelson, Adams. They have Randall Cobb. Then they still have Ty Montgomery. Then they have two other backups. I remember the week that Nelson and Cobb didn't play, they each got touchdowns. So that's a very tough defense. It's mostly because of tough to defend those guys, mostly because of Aaron Rodgers. All right, now Cole Beasley, like I mentioned earlier in the video, they're probably going to shut down Dez Bryant, so Cole Beasley is going to benefit from that. Um, Gronkowski went into back surgery, so he's out for the year. Martellus Bennett is going to benefit from that, so he's probably going to be getting quite a bit of targets and a lot of red zone targets. Michael Thomas, he had a very good game last week, so they're probably going to continue that trend. So I hope that Nelson, Thomas, and Martellus Bennett carry this team to at least a good 100 points and get the game out of hand, out of reach for Ronnie. Sorry, Ronnie, but I don't want to be the beer bitch. All right, so let's check out the next game. All right, so let's check out Suicide Squad versus Thor's Hammer. Beat Suicide Squad last week. So George is in last place in his division. Tizo is in third place in the Heroes division, but he's well out of the playoffs. So this game has no value for the most part, but it looks like Tizo is going to lose. 95-73 is projected. Chris Ivory is projected to get 0 points, and George has not set his lineup. He still has Delaney Walker in here. Delaney Walker is the number one tight end in the league, which is amazing because at the beginning of the year they were talking about how he was just last year's was his number 1 year, and that was the last time he was ever going to produce. All right, now let's check out Georgia's team. He has a lot of top 10 players, man. He has Drew Brees number 1, Le'Veon Bell number 8. Now Le'Veon Bell didn't play the first 4 games, so that kind of sucked. Garrett Blunt top 10, number 6. He has the number 1 tight end, and he has a number 2 kicker. Now kickers doesn't really help too much, but it's always good to have a good kicker. Why not? So it just sucks that, and he has Dez Bryant. Now Dez Bryant was injured throughout the beginning of the year, so it kind of sucked. But man, he has a good lineup, and he just could not get wins. He had a lot of tough losses. Now he is predicted to win this week, and he does not have a tight end set in his lineup, so he should be able to crack 100 points very easily. Le'Veon Bell is a monster of a running back. LeGarrette Blount is a monster of a running back getting touchdowns. Drew Brees is coming off of a 4 touchdown game. Demaryius Thomas did not get any touchdowns last week, but he's averaging quite a bit of yards. Against Jacksonville, it should be easy to get a touchdown. Latavius Murray versus Buffalo, that's a very tough matchup right there. But he should be able to at least get 1 touchdown, which is he's averaging almost one a game. All right, so let's check out Teasel's team. Derek Carr versus Buffalo. That's a tough game. That's gonna be a tough game right there. Buffalo has a pretty good defense. They get a lot of sacks, but Derek Carr. Now he is coming off that game where he messed up his hand. That shit looked painful, but I mean Derek Carr is he does throw a lot of touchdowns. So let's not call it in just yet. All right, Jeremy Hill versus Philadelphia. Again, they still have not been able to benefit from not having AJ Green out on the field, and no Gio Bernard. So Jeremy Hill, he needs to. This is probably going to be one of his better games. Now Philadelphia should be one of his better games. Now Philadelphia is not the easiest defense to score on, but he is his sole running back on his team. So and he is not, and he's not an easy guy to bring down. So hopefully he can get it together. Now, Crazy Ivory is projected to get 0 points. More than likely is because he's questionable for week 13, but he had his best game of the year last year. So let's see what happens. Julio Jones versus KC. It's almost impossible to shut down Julio Jones, and with the emergence of Gabriel, like I was mentioned earlier in the video, should make things a little bit easier for him. Cooper versus Buffalo. If Derek Carr has a good game, Cooper's gonna have a good game. Um, Kobe Fleener against Detroit. Like I mentioned earlier, uh, Drew Brees is rolling and he's throwing touchdowns everywhere, man. So let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure he's going to get at least one. Randall Cobb versus Houston. Now, like I was saying earlier on Despicable Lee's team or Grind Time, he has um, man, I forgot the other guy's name. He has Jordy Nelson. All right, so Jordy Nelson, Cobb, and Adams are the top three wide receivers in that team. Any one of those guys could possibly be number ones on any other team. So these guys are stacked at wide receiver. They have Aaron Rodgers, so somebody's gonna get a touchdown. Now, right now, Adams is the main one, but Nelson, Cobb, they're good too. So hopefully, Cobb can get something going, but more than likely, it's going to be Nelson or Adams. So Randall Cobb just seems to be out the door. Hopefully, he goes to a better team and he produces as a number one for another team with a deep, with somebody with a deep arm or something, maybe like the Lions or something. So that'd be pretty cool. All right, guys, let's check out the next team. All right, so let's check out the last game of the week 13. Super Sauce versus the Harambeans. Harambeans is in fifth place in the Villains division, so he's out of the playoffs. Super Sauce is actually in the playoffs. He's second in our division, and he has a guaranteed spot in the playoffs. So it was a lot tougher division in the Villains division, as you could tell. 6-6 record. It's fifth place, and a 6-5 record is second place and in the playoffs. So Mark pretty much doesn't really even need to win. Matter of fact, he didn't even need last week's win, and he's already in. So fucking sucks, man. All right, now he is predicted to lose. He is on a 2-game losing streak, but it's mostly because Melvin Gordon was on the bye, and Melvin Gordon played the Houston defense, who just shut him down. So let's see what's gonna go. Let's see what's gonna happen right here with Super Sauce's team. Big Ben versus New York. That should be an easy 18 points. As he's averaging 17 and a half, and he's projected to get 18. Now Melvin Gordon, he's very touchdown reliant. He is top 4 running back. He's averaging 16 points a game, 16.4, and he's projected to get 16. So that seems fair. New Orleans, Tim Hightower, New Orleans running back versus Detroit. He's averaging 5.6. He's had a couple big games, so he should keep the trend going. Emmanuel Sanders last week was just on the same page with Simeon. So if they can continue that going, they should have a very easy game against Jacksonville. Michael Crabtree versus Buffalo. Michael Crabtree's a beast. Derek Carr's, and as long as his hands good, he should produce. All right, Superstars loses Rob Gronkowski. I wonder if he knows that. The game is should be, I think it's Sunday night. It's not. I don't know who plays tonight. But he's gonna have to drop him and just pick somebody else up. Uh, with picking up a tight end, he should be able to project it to have a closer game than a 9 point difference. Pierre Garcon versus Washington against Arizona. Pierre Garcon is not that great, but Arizona's defense is pretty good. So he's probably just doesn't have nobody else to start, which kind of sucks. All right, so the Harambe's Stafford top having a top 10 season. He averaging 17 points, so 18 points is going to be simple, maybe even more, since it could be a shootout versus New Orleans. Lamar Miller, Matt Forte. Lamar Miller's number 13 in the league as in ranking, and Matt Forte is ranked number 8. They both seem to they should score more than their average. 10 Lamar Miller, for the most part, gets 100 yards every game. So if he can manage to get at least one touchdown or break off one big run, maybe like 110, 120 yards, he's going to get 12 points, 11 points easy. Stephon Diggs, Tyrell Williams, man, these guys, and Sammy Watkins, he just does not have anywhere to start. Not liking any of these guys. Right now, Tyrell Williams and Antonio Gates, all it comes down to is who is Phillip Rivers going to hit. He spreads the ball around so much. So he is projected to win. More than likely, Stafford, Miller, and Forte are going to carry him. And if Tyrell Williams or Antonio Gates get a touchdown, that should be more than enough points to win. So these guys both need to pick up wide receivers bad. All right, so let me finish editing this, and I will upload it. And I think we're gonna hang out at Ronnie's house tonight. So see y'all guys there.